Hello, and as always, thank you guys for tuning in to the adventures of D-Webb Enterprises LLC. Today is Friday, October 8th, 2021, and on today's video, I'm just doing a little bit of landscaping, cleaning up the yard basically. There's some overgrown weeds. I'm just a handyman in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area. I take any sort of jobs. It can be painting, it can be landscaping, drywalling, whatever you're interested in. Please branch out if you need work at a reasonable price. I'm not exactly like a professional painter, so I'm not gonna come in and charge you top dollar, but you have to understand I do great work, but I'm young, so my hardest thing is getting customers. So you just have to work with me. Certain jobs I don't know how to do, so I'll have to say no. But anything like fall cleanup, snow removal, cutting grass, I can do any of that easily. So please branch out anybody who needs some help. So I'll show you what I'm doing today. I cleaned this up. You can see everything that I cut already. Basically, there's a fallen tree. You can see where the fence is a little damaged right there. There's a tree that fell onto the fence, and he just wanted it cleaned up, so I cut all this stuff down, threw it down there. He owns this pitch of wood, so that's what he said, just put it in there. So again, I just cleaned up along the fence, gave it a nice walkway. You used to not even be able to walk along this. It was too overgrown. I didn't go all the way back. You can see where it starts to grow again on the fence. He said this was good for now. Now what he needs to do, he is a landlord, so he rents these properties out, and he needs to fix this for the borough to allow him to get the occupancy permit. So specifically today, he just hired me. He didn't give me a whole bid job. He just wanted me to come in for a per hour rate for 3 hours, just clean up as much of this behind me as I can. All of that vegetation over here to the left, but between the trailer and the house, he needs that cleaned up. You can tell with that taller one, it's like an overgrown tree that has like weeds wrapped around in vines. So basically I'm just gonna have to try to use a chainsaw as low as possible and cut that one down. Just keep working my way back on the rest of that. So again, he didn't quote me on any specific amount that needs done. He just wants to pass the occupancy permit, and he just wants me to go at it as much as I can. Thanks for sticking with me. Right now I'm a little over an hour out of my 3 hours of my cutting I have to do. Please like, share, and subscribe. So over here, if you remember from the start of the video, was that big bush. It was like coming up almost to the window. You couldn't even tell there was bricks back there, honestly. So there's a little bit of stuff left right there. Again, he's not like being nitpicky. He just wants to pass the occupancy permit. So I cut this part a couple days ago, but I showed you guys this before. Cleared all this up before the fence. See where I was like cutting all that stuff down. So again, this is where that bush was. It really cleaned up. Throwing a bunch of the cut up pieces right here. He didn't really have a specific spot. He told me just push it back. Just using these to cut through. So again, this is where I've been cutting. You can kind of tell where it's a lot shorter from the beginning of the video. I forgot my chainsaw at home, so I want to go get the chainsaw, because I think if I cut that tree right there, that'll really clean it up. So let me go back and show you how big that is. So yeah, if I cut down that tree, and then even if I have to cut it up to get it back in the woods back there, I think it'll really clean up the house a lot. I'm just cleaning up right there in between the trailer and the house. He just wants it pushed back. It didn't pass the occupancy permit due to the vegetation around the house. So I'm just pushing it all back. And again, he doesn't want me to go over it with a lawnmower, so that's why some of this stuff will still be like there when I'm done. If I was actually paid for the whole job, I'd make sure to clean everything up, but I'm just getting paid per hour, so I'm just listening to what he wants. My goal is to get rid of this big bush kind of that you're staring at right now within the next hour, push it back a little more, and then I'll come back and cut this tree down, because I think that'll make a big difference getting rid of that. So at this point I'm 2 hours in, I have 1 more hour. This was completely covered in stuff. Finally got the chainsaw here, so I'm gonna try and get rid of this tree. Probably cut down that tree. Maybe those two right there, maybe that third one. I have another hour, we'll see how much I get done. Thank you guys for watching and staying with me. Alright, let's see what I can nail out in the last hour. So I mentioned that I wanted to cut this tree down and a couple of those other ones, but the chainsaw I had here, it was like kind of loose. I'll show you guys, unfortunately. The blade was kind of loose. I've been trying to tighten it. I think it needs a new blade, unfortunately. It's getting a little rusted. Cause I tried cutting through this one. Tried on this side. and I tried on that side. You guys can see it didn't make it very far. I mean, I was cutting for a good bit of time, so it is what it is. But I called him, he said don't worry about it because the trees took up a little bit of space. He said keep cutting and clearing. So this whole area was filled with weeds. Before, where you see that tree that's standing, you wouldn't even have been able to see all of that part right here. It was covered in bushes, this whole area. So I managed to get all that out of there. I think it's enough. He would have to, I would be shocked if he can't pass the occupancy inspection on this, because he failed. That's the whole reason that he had me come and do this. And that's why he didn't want to pay for the whole job. He didn't want to pay for all of this to get cut down. And that's why he also wasn't worried that I couldn't use the chainsaw to get the big tree down, or that big tree. I wanted to. Would have really cleaned it up to get rid of that tree and that tree, which I'm gonna talk to him. Maybe I'll just come back a different day and do it. But the main thing he wanted was to just be able to pass the occupancy inspection, which again, if you look over here, there's a couple still, because he wasn't worried about it being perfect, but it was pretty long weeds all the way over here. I'd almost even say shrubs. I'll show you. So stuff like this was growing out, just like all these, but they were everywhere. Some of them I got really close to the ground. You can tell I cut all over the place. Every time you see a little section like this, that was a whole nother like bush area. So that was one, this would have been one, that would have been one, another one. So you can see these were all sections of bushes I basically cut out. Now I cleared up all of this. I know it still looks a little high, but I took out all the bigger stuff that from the street. There's a little garbage back here, an old computer. I'm 25 right now. I'm making this video on October 8th, 2021, but that computer is probably around the time of my birth, 1996, maybe a little bit younger than I am. A little bit of garbage back here. I don't know, he might have me come through with the garbage bag and clean some of this stuff up, but that wasn't the job for today. So here's the POW. I didn't really have anywhere to put it, so he just told me to cut it from over here, just drag it. So that whole thing, that's not a bush in the ground, that's all stuff I cut. There was a giant bush there, you couldn't even see the bricks before. So this is all from what I cut. Again, there would have been another giant bush I cut down right next to another one. So that was a big bush. That was a big bush. Now this is where I POW'd everything up. This is a straight path. I cut this the other day. Now I was just POWing everything in here. It's hard to tell from the video. It almost looks like this is a bush, but this is all just cut up stuff that I had to bring over. You can tell how far I went. I went all the way back to here. Basically, I'm a handyman. I'm just trying to get extra work. These are my before and afters of just some stuff that I've done to be able to show you guys. Please branch out. I might not be doing everything right. Like, share, and subscribe. One of the hardest things on YouTube is to get people to actually watch your videos. One of the hardest things as an actual handyman is to get people to call you for the work. Now, I know I don't mind starting early and I don't mind working long hours. I just need the available work. So please, anybody, branch out. My company, D-Webb Enterprises LLC. I'm always available to come in and bid or tell you what I can do. So just look me up and I'm happy to do whatever work. Thank you guys.